Welcome back. We will begin by wanting to know from you the circumstances of your second kidnapping. How did it happen?
Well, I will thank the journalists for coming spontaneously like this. I returned from the hospital in Gingo where I had treatment. If you look at my hands here, you'll see the different pricks that they have to draw blood. They did this about 10 times. So, and they discovered that I had slight things like trying to show their ugly head. So they made prescriptions. But when I got home, to take the medicines, I don't like taking the medicines on empty stomach. So I had a slight lunch, took the medicines, and since I came back from hospital, I was feeling a little dizzy. So I laid down to rest. I was not 10 minutes in my rest when I heard gun firing in my compound and even in the parlor. I was so taken aback that I ran out with a t-shirt on and a trouser. Luckily, I had these things on to find out what was happening. That were shooting guns even in my own parlor, in my parlor. As I opened the door and engaged on the corridor, I saw this young man with heavy muscles walk up to me and say, "Come," and grabbed me on my chest. I said, "Please, I'm just from hospital. Can you let me know what is happening?" You know, it dragged me because I was busy. He dragged me on the floor of my parlor, dragged me through the corridor here, through the yard, right into the car outside. And when they got there, just bundled me into, and as I described, they dragged me like a pig. I was nothing better than a pig. And when they put me into the car, or shuffled me into the car and were now going, those of you with cameras, if you look here carefully, they knocked me with their gun here about 5 times. They borrowed the gun. When they knocked, I said, "Please, you cannot knock me with your gun." He still knocked. I said, "You are an idiot to be knocking me like that. What have I done?" He knocked me again. Then when they gave me 2 blows on my stomach, said, "Look how your belly be." I said, "That's a healthy stomach. I should not have a hungry-looking stomach like 8 patients like you." Say, "Yeah, because we're dying in the bush." I say, "You're dying in the bush, but the things are not going rightly the way we thought they would go." Say, "Because they are black legs like you." I say, "I'm a black leg, you're a dark leg." They put this thing on my face, camouflage or what? Mask. They masked me up, and when they masked me up, they were all along trying to block my nose from breathing. I said, "Please, if you want to kill me, let us go. You give me my charges. If I'm guilty, I tell you I'm guilty. Then you can shoot me. You don't have to strangulate me like that because you brought guns." I said, "These guns you are having are weapons of the coward. I believe in open dialogue." They took me, dragged me out of the car, through some muddy places, no shoes on my feet, and took me into what you call a cell, and sat me there on a hard bamboo bench, and that's where I slept for about 2 days. And I never ate, I never took my medicines. I'm hypertensive, I'm diabetic, plus the other medicines that the doctors had prescribed. I never took them. So that night passed. The following day, all I didn't see them, the letter came and said, "Mr. Chairman, we can now talk." I said, "Yes, that's what I've been waiting for. You don't treat me the way you are treating me. You drag me out of my compound like a pig that you're going to slaughter. Even the pig, sometimes you go behind and push it a bit. But you dragged me on the floor. Me, Fru Ndi, you did that. Thank you very much. God bless you." So what's your quarrel? They said want you to declare, they brought the cameras, to declare on a camera now that you'll get your people out of parliament, out of Senate, and out of council in the next 24 hours. You have to say it here and now for us. I said, sir, you don't hold me at gunpoint to make such statements. You cannot do it. Sorry. I will not do it. Because you have to tell me why. They said, no, they're disturbing our cause. I said, why is it only the SDF parliamentarians? They said, because those are parliamentarians who have faith and confidence in. When they come out, we'll know what to do with the rest. I said, okay, fine. What I want to tell you on this media, that you are interviewing me, I was talking to them, is that I will go to Yaoundé, meet my parliamentarians, senators, and we get the mayors, we sit down and discuss and look at the best way of doing it. You cannot just come with your gun and say, free to get and start running out. No. So, I know that the SDF parliamentarians have struggled, done everything to table the Anglophone issues on the floor of parliament to no avail. The senators in the first Senate, who were all Francophones, struggled to table it to no avail. In the second Senate, they've all been fighting to get it even on the agenda that it should be discussed to no avail. So, but we had our own approach. And the approach I explained to them off camera. And that if they think that the SDF senators, parliamentarians, and whoever should get out of parliament, I want to go to Yaoundé and discuss with them, but not in the 24 hours they were giving me, because that's not the democracy we all ushered in. So, I had stood on the floor of the Supreme Court and told the judges that, my lords, this is not the unification we fought for. This is not the unification we came into, where there's no rule of law, where there's no justice in our land. And you have to do it now with the barrel of the gun. You can go ahead, but I must go and discuss it with my parliamentarians, with my mayors, and with my senators. When I discuss with these people, and we have a way out, I will come back to you. They say, yes, but you've never been coming to us, you've never come to see us, you've never visited us. I say, because you've never invited me. Others have come to me. Others have invited me, I've talked to them. They've sent their leaders, and I've spoken to them. But when you have to come but with a gun, and you drag me down like a pig, in my own person in this country, it's very unfortunate for you. But I'm praying that God should forgive those who dragged me through my own compound in the presence of my children, shooting my bodyguard in my parlor. You see, two wrongs don't make a right. So, to you journalists, I think that we are in trouble in the country. Because anybody who has an opinion thinks that his or her own opinion is supreme. But I still believe in the democracy that the SDF ushered in. I still believe in the rule of law that we talked of. I still believe in quite a lot of things that we talked of in the 90s. But if today you have yourselves being boxed up and down to say you must say it this way, well, if Cameroonians will listen to me, I'll say give in to them. Do what they want you to do. Let us see what they can do. They can also do to avoid the situation. You never can tell. Sometimes a little child might solve a problem. But I do not believe in the type of administration where each individual thinks that he knows best, he is the best. Because today, with Mr. Biya, he has never invited us for anything to say, look, listen, these things are happening. What do we do SDF? What do we do Northwest North? What do we do the funds that you made me fond of funds? What do we do in the face of this? They're just pushing out issues. They had to form the Bilingualism Commission. And in my wildest of imaginations, when I asked myself, what can Bilingualism Commission do in a situation like what we are going through in our country? They came up again with the Disarmament Commission. I started asking, are we honest in really trying to resolve the Anglophone problem? He sent the Prime Minister out here, while his former Prime Minister had come out here and agreed with what they wanted to do. So I told the boys that, yes, you brought me here. Outside the maltreatment that your friends gave me by dragging me out, you've not tortured me, you've not beaten me, but I'm feeling dizzy with the cigarettes they were smoking. And I slept on this hard bench, which is what you had. So you truly brought me into a cell to say that you've captured Fru Ndi. If capturing Fru Ndi will make you solve your problems, you go ahead. If cutting Fru Ndi's fingers or hand will make you solve your problems, please, let's go ahead. But I want to say one thing, that I still believe in a democratic option. I still believe in the rule of law. I still believe in letting people choose and take their own actions in the way that they want to.
Yes, maybe this last question, Mr. Chairman, this attitude, what message will you give to those who think this brutal approach, this brutal attitude of solving the problem is what should be done? I mean, constantly kidnapping and torturing people, as was the case with you. What message to them, and of course to the Cameroonian people, many of whom are suffering because of such attitude?
Well, you see, the Anglophone crisis is centering on Fru Ndi, because there in the camp I met boys who told me, you caused our brother to be killed in Baba. You killed our brother in Baba. You killed our brother in Baba. But the brother killed in Baba, he was killed by the army because they burned my house. So if they are coming up with a system of government that you burn a house, you've done a good thing, they cheer you and you go, then what society are we building? So I decry that the burning of houses, the kidnapping of people, the taking of people hostages to make money, I condemn in very strong terms the house destructions from both sides, from the regular army and from the Ambazonian army. Because Anglophone Cameroonians today are not free. They cannot move about freely. They are not safe in their own homes. Some of them in the night, they leave their beds and sleep under the bed. So I think that when you want to take care of people, you have to be humble, you have to be civil. Like I told them in the night, in the camp, please can you give us a human face to the struggle, to the fight you are fighting. You want to take care of the people. Be friendly to the people. Let them see a different type of administration coming, and not an administration that you have to cut fingers, you have to cut hands, you have to abduct people, ask for ransom, you have to. And I told them that as long as the real Ambazonians are not condemning this, then I condemn them for that. Because I had said it before.
Chairman, we'll know from you how you were finally released.
Yes, how will
I told them before that as long as you don't condemn the person who's done a wrong thing, it will mean that it's you who did the wrong thing, and that you accept it. They came in the morning when we had the interviews, they sang the Ambazonian anthem and made their pictures with me standing in front of the Ambazonian flag. I said, they said they were coming to release me, and I waited. They never came in the early hours of the day. It's at about 9:30 that they came and took me out, that were taking me away.
PM.
I have to go home, 9:30 p.m. last night. And as they dragged me here, I went there barefooted. They gave me some 2-rope slippers, which were very uncomfortable, as troublesome as a bamboo bed on which the bamboos are not all correct full. So I was struggling with those, and when I finally climbed the motorcycle, one of the slippers foot fell. They brought me a shirt, which I thought was mine. When I looked at the shirt, was not mine. They forced it on me. It entered and stood halfway. But when they took me, and the man who took me on the bicycle, on the motorbike, was still very insultive, telling me how I killed friends in Baba. As I condemn those who kill, I condemn those who burn.
Chairman,
Did they give you food?
Maybe this last question. You had on several occasions maintained that some of these criminal activities or kidnappings are carried out by some, criminal gangs being sponsored by some regimes. Do you still maintain that assertion?
I still maintain that. I still maintain that the Anglophones have a problem. I still maintain that the Anglophone problem should be looked into. I still maintain that there's the Anglophone marginalization. I still maintain that the Anglophones have been taken for granted. I still maintain all these things and many more that were said in the early days. But the children, in their desperate effort to resolve this, should not commit more faults and make more errors than what we are facing now.
Thank you, Mr.
Chairman, you haven't answered my question. That some of these kidnappings are carried out by some criminal gangs being sponsored by some regimes.
I answered this question before. And as long as the Ambazonian forces so far will not condemn that and also make an effort to arrest those that